Hello, welcome back to the Waffle Press Movie Podcast. We're in a new studio. I was looking at the wrong camera. We're going to get used to this, though. I promise. I'm your host, Diego Crespo. I have other hosts here. You guys can introduce yourselves.
I'm Nick Valero.
I'm Gina Versa.
Yeah, a new studio, finally.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Feels pretty good.
Yeah, I'm happy. Shout out to OJ from behind the camera. Thank you very much for providing us with the new space. We have a lot to talk about today. You know what happened recently, Gene? We went to Comic-Con.
I did.
And there was a little bit of a more somber mood this year because the nerd film geek community lost one of its own, a patron, John Schnepp, director of The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened, a great documentary on the Nicolas Cage Superman movie that never came to be, and obviously big over at Collider Heroes, and just all around the film fan universe. Mm-hmm. He was a beloved fellow fan who just happened to have a big old voice, a big old sweaty, much like we are under these lights right now. And I mean, we just wanted to give a quick mention to him and wish him and his loved ones the best in his passing. Yeah, because he was beloved.
Yeah, he was a great dude when we got to interview him 3 years ago at Stanley's LA Comic-Con. He was very approachable. You know, I just said, starting a podcast, can I chat with you about your documentary? And he was pretty cool about it. And, the nicest guy when I was interacting with him. He'd always be around at pretty much every single con that I attended. So
he was an easy guy to get a hold of. Mm-hmm. Like the podcasters and stuff like that. He was like one of the people that is like the easiest to just walk up to and go like, I had a thought about something. He's like, tell me.
I believe like after one of the Death of Superman panels, he was like talking. I think he was talking to us about Man of Steel. Yeah. And he was, he's making his points, and we were just like, oh, do you think like Superman introducing himself to the world and like in a destruction of Metropolis is the right way to go? He's like, oh, I thought it was okay. I thought it worked. It was just like, I disagree. It was like, he was really cool about it. So
and which like you said, The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened. It's a great documentary. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a good documentary.
I've seen it at least 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, check it out if you haven't. It's a great doc, great human being who will be missed by many.
Yeah. I actually think they're still coming out with his TV show.
His TV show, they're still going to try to make.
Yeah, they're still going to try and make it. So
it's it'd be cool to see that.
Yeah, when it comes out, go check it out.
But for much more light mood, Comic-Con happened. A lot of things to talk about. Not as many because I think things are kind of pulling out of there now. I don't know if you guys felt that.
I don't know, yeah. Well, Marvel was noticeusly absent this year.
They kind of don't care anymore.
Yeah, but they've been absent before.
Yeah, but that's not what I was referring to. I just mean like, it was a lighter load this year. Like the Fox panel was an hour of just Predator, which we don't get to see because we didn't go. Yeah. The DC stuff, I think, kind of ran away with. Warner Brothers, just in general, ran away with it.
Warner Brothers, I think honestly, all their trailers.
It honestly became the Warner Brothers con.
Pretty much, yeah,
Warner,
right.
Warner Brothers they were like, here's our TV stuff, here's our movies, here's everything. Yeah. You could possibly want. We're coming out with a streaming service. Like they were just like, we're gonna drop everything. Marvel's not here. They can't.
It was really their year.
And we're going to highlight some of our favorite trailers that we're going to talk about in a second. But Gene, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your highlights from the con?
My highlights was definitely the Godzilla trailer. Can I just talk about that?
Yeah.
Because I love that. That was, when that dropped, when I got that notification, I don't know what I was doing. Probably, was that like...
Hungover?
No, I wasn't hungover at that point. No, I think
adults.
I was probably drinking at the Wired Cafe, and I went to the restroom just to see the trailer.
Not hungover yet.
Oh, not hungover yet. Yeah. And I that trailer dropped. I was just like, ran out. Went to didn't pay his bill, yeah. And it was just, I loved everything about that trailer. I didn't know who that musical artist was before this, but I'll definitely Claire
Debussy.
Yeah, Claire Debussy. I'll definitely check out her stuff now. And it was just everything I wanted to in a Godzilla movie to be. It is in this like post kind of apocalypse. I don't know if it's apocalypse.
No, it looks apocalyptic. That's
apocalyptic. Yeah.
Here, finish your thoughts because I got some more.
Sorry, but just seeing the monsters and in all their glory, how they film Mothra being so majestic, and Mothra doesn't get enough love I feel, because she's like one of the strongest kaiju. She always beats Godzilla, mostly. And she's always been good, altruistic, so very underrated. Just every little detail that you see in that trailer, like Rodan, when he just flies by like the ground below just shakes and he creates like whirlwinds or tornadoes or something. Little sonic booms, that's just great. And then just seeing Godzilla, where they just say "All hail the king" and he appears and doing that classic roar. That was just amazing. So I was blown away by that.
The main thing I liked about it is I like the idea that I kind of saw and I was kind of hoping that they were going to go with is that because it's an apocalyptic world and Godzilla is this like god figure
He's a god.
Like, that he's God, that he is a god, and like people are like worshiping him, and it's like a cult of Godzilla, which I thought that would be a really interesting idea.
Mm-hmm. Well, they worship Mothra.
Yeah.
Well, no, but like in this movie, I think what Nick's getting at is that it looks like there's a bunch of eco-terrorists, basically.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, like humans are the plague, time to kill us all.
Right.
It's like, if you lived through 2017, 2018, like, they're probably not wrong.
Yeah.
But,
it's getting hotter for a reason.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was definitely... And the human characters seems pretty interesting. I will say, like, Millie Bobby Brown's the daughter, and the fact that like she calls her mom like a monster, and there seems to be like some interesting mother-daughter stuff, which you don't really see in too many movies.
Yeah, I was about to say, you don't see complicated relationships like that. Everyone's got daddy issues, you know?
And it's, they seem very interesting, her and Vera from Farmiga. And it's cool that Shazam back as well, because, he was, personally, I felt the most interesting character in the last movie.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah. So cool they're bringing him back, and I can't wait next year. Yeah,
Michael fucking Dougherty, man.
Michael Dougherty,
Watch Krampus and watch Trick or Treat if you haven't. I like Trick or Treat a lot.
Trick or Treat,
yeah. Like
Krampus
is way better.
Krampus is the best. It's just the fucking best. That's just a fact of life. I got super excited.
So is Godzilla going to take place during like Thanksgiving?
Oh, I fucking... You know
Maybe,
what?
yeah.
Predator's taking place during Halloween. So I'd love if this took place during Halloween.
Yeah.
For no reason, just aesthetically.
Just
so
aesthetically,
cool.
just that vibe.
Yeah, music, amazing.
Yeah.
The shots of the monsters, I was worried if his sense of scale would be lost in translation to like blockbuster filmmaking for a director. Not at all. That looks fucking gorgeous. That was the shit.
It looks really cool.
But yeah, that was my favorite thing to see at the con. I will say this year, just my quick thoughts, it was pretty laid back. People just walked into Hall H, from what I heard. There was standing room.
Really quick, friend of the show, Patrick Campbell, was able to just walk into Hall H. I think every day he went to Hall H.
Several times.
Yeah, he didn't have to stay out in line.
When I went to Comic-Con, I had to sleep outside.
Yes, you did.
That was bullshit.
It was alright.
But I mean,
in the dirt.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're not doing that, because I don't know. I feel like that's a little inhewmane.
It is.
Yeah, make people sleep when you think about it.
Slaves.
I mean, in retrospect of me and the person we went with, we didn't rent a hotel room, so at least we had like a place to sleep. I'm not gonna like we planned on being homeless for the entire weekend. That was the plan. So I mean, at least we had guards.
Right. And yeah, I think getting rid of that is maybe a good move. Hopefully they implement more of that, because it's just like, who wants to do that? I mean they get into Hall H, but
I can say as somebody who's done it, it is an experience. It's not a great experience.
No, it's not. Like, no one looks forward to sleeping
on the ground.
You know
what else is an experience? Having appendicitis.
Yeah.
It's an experience, but I mean it's a good one.
Well, honestly, I know what I did notice is that when I was in those lines, like, because people were asleep, and then like early in the morning around like 8 o'clock is when the line starts moving. Is that a lot of people, what they were doing is, if people were still asleep, they just walked right over them, and they just kept on walking. Like, because the people in front of me, they were still asleep, and like the line started to move, and like me and my buddy just started like hitting their sleeping bags, going like, dude, the line is moving, and like you see the guy wake up, and his girlfriend, and they're just like grabbing as much stuff as possible, and like they're carrying it, and they're trying to shove it into their backpack as we're walking.
Yeah, like
and the guy was even like, dude,
it's fucked up that it gets to that point.
Yeah, and the guy even was like, oh dude, like thanks a lot for like looking out. And I'm like, if it happened to me, I would hope somebody would do it. Like that's kind of messed up.
Yeah, definitely. And so I hope San Diego Comic-Con just gets a little less crowded like that. And
I'm okay with Marvel like doing just D23. You
No, I want them to keep doing their thing they did for Phase 3. Where they just announced, like, oh, here's the next 9 movies we're going to make at the El Capitan. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's it? We're going to go make them now?
We're going to go
Wish
make
us luck.
Yeah, that was
We're going to be very stressed.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool. I mean, especially since they had what was it? They had the fake out for the Serpent Society.
Yeah, that was funny.
Cute.
That was cute.
Kind of would have preferred that movie. In
But,
now, but
yeah, the con definitely felt missing something with Marvel, and then especially with the James Gunn news. It cast a little sour note on the convention itself. You just kind of felt it. But, I mean, I managed to have a good time. There's no other convention like that. There's no other time of year like that. It feels like Christmas. Maybe better than Christmas, you know? But, yeah, it's just the time. I don't know how to explain Comic-Con, because I know people have some negative views, but for me, you know, I say just plan it out with your friends, like, know people that are going there that you could hang out with. Avoid stuff that you know you can't get into. Like, obviously, you don't want to wait 3 hours in line for the Suicide Squad experience.
It wasn't supposed to be that long, Gene. That wasn't the plan.
But
it was supposed to take half an hour.
Yeah, but no, I'm not knocking on you, but just in general, where it's like, you know, attractions where it's like, you know, if it feels crowded, just avoid it. Go maybe later, the next day in the morning.
Well, that was the whole idea when I went, is that we went to all the stuff that we saw was like either short lines, or like we knew like we saw like the line was like moving relatively fast.
Yeah.
Because like that was right when like Fractured Butthole was coming out, and they had the entire like South Park thing. And everything else. And that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, of course. And yeah, I just feel that, you know, just people just plan out your trip and you'll have a good time.
Yeah.
And like, you know, go with friends. Yeah, that's the best time because yeah, I went on. Also go on the train, the good old Amtrak. Because it's like you save so much and parking and.
Well, remember, not everyone's coming from LA.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. So if like you're coming locally, you know, semi-locally in SoCal, just come on the train because it's just like such a less of a hassle, you know, than driving and just dealing with parking and all that. Yeah, it's true.
I went on the train.
Train's great.
So you went to the hotel.
And yeah, you know, I just, you know, you never know who you'll run into there. Like saw the guy from Land of the Lost, the creator.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Honestly, when you're at Comic-Con, just kind of keep your eyes open because like people are just walking the floor and they don't know, and they're because they enjoy the same shit and they're just like, oh, I want to go see the floor and everything like that. And a lot of people who are at Comic-Con are pretty damn open to like just like taking a photo.
Yeah, just hanging out.
Just don't stalk them. It's weird.
Yeah, don't do that. But speaking of weird, M. Night Shyamalan has another movie coming out. It's the third entry in his Unbreakable trilogy called Glass. M. Night Shyamalan is a weird director because I don't like all of his movies.
Yeah, he has an interesting.
I like a lot of his movies. I think he got a bad rap after Signs.
I would say after The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
That one I can't.
I feel like
I can't really defend that one. But I loved The Visit a lot.
Yeah.
And then Split was a whole other level of movie that I was not prepared for when I went into it.
Yeah.
And I had the ending spoiled for me. And I was still like enthralled
I
by
don't.
it. Yeah.
Bless you.
Whoa.
Yeah. So he has an interesting career trajectory.
Yeah, I think he's a dude who just kind of knows his wheelhouse now. It's kind of like, it's not that he can't like make movies anymore. It's just like maybe the big budget stuff is out of his territory.
I don't know. I feel like he just needs a good producer to like rein him in.
Maybe. I mean,
he made The Visit for like ham sandwich money, and that was a great found footage movie.
Yeah.
Then he made Split, which is a great little horror movie that's actually a super villain origin story. Yeah. And now Glass looks like it's his big team up movie, like all his weird little fascination with comic book and like American fantasies.
He's doing the Legion of Doom. Legion of Doom.
Yeah, but like,
actually,
I'm really looking forward to that because I don't think it's just going to be like a big brawl, beat 'em up like a versus movie. You know, like with Split, he was really interested in like stuff that could basically come across as exploitation. Yeah. Be like, oh, here's like a rape scene, like just move on. Like that movie addresses heavy things and understands the trauma that can inflict upon people. Same thing with like the DID, the dissociative identity disorder, right? Yeah. Like that could have just been like a cheap ploy, like he's a villain because he can't control his identity, and like it's just a really sad moment in Split when that comes to light, and like one of the identities realizes what he's done. He's like, you have to kill me. And it's really heartbreaking stuff, and I really truly believe that he's one of America's best filmmakers.
I actually really liked the way that everything was lit and everything like that, because he had like everybody's like color
Oh yeah,
all over the place. He was using color palettes like everywhere, like hero, villain. It was like
the production design.
Is this the same DP from Split? Because Split Had the same DP from It Follows, and that's a really
I'm
talented dude.
I'm not too sure actually.
Okay, yeah.
That's a great question. We should
Check,
probably look that up.
We probably should. Oh, and I wanted to bring back James Newton Howard's score from Unbreakable.
Yeah, I hope
Because
so.
that at the end of Split with the piano slowly rising, even though I knew it was coming, I was like, oh shit, here it comes.
That's what tipped me off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my favorite trailer from Comic-Con.
Yeah, and I really like the idea of Bruce Willis is he's been a superhero. He's been a vigilante for like 20 years.
Yeah, and then you see him bump into the Beast.
Yeah, he bumps into the Beast.
Yeah, and then he's just like, oh, what? Like, I'm
like,
sure he's seen some shit
he's like, oh
in
my
his
God,
days, but then like that.
It's like bumping into Jack the Ripper and just going like, whoa, what the?
Yeah, and I don't know. It's also nice to get some variety in that genre. You know, like we love our superhero stuff, but like this is one that actively feels like really different, like just from the way it's made.
I think it'd be really interesting too, especially since because of the Beast and like his different personalities, especially if like you see Bruce Willis like following him and stuff like that, and continuously keep on like.
It's like a cat and mouse game.
Yeah, but like him they keep on like bumping into each other, but every single time he keeps on getting different visions because it's a different personality and stuff like that. So he doesn't really know how to act or like how like is this a bad person like or who is this person and stuff like that. I think that would be really interesting, especially
because in the trailer you see him get nudged by James McAvoy on the street.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting. Yeah. Really quick before we move on to the next trailers. I really like that they're bringing back the supporting cast that are specific to all those characters too.
Oh, his son.
So his son,
her mom,
Mr. Glass's mom, and
Casey.
Thank you, Casey from Split.
That was his sister, right?
No, that was the girl he kidnapped. That's the survivor.
No, but yeah, I enjoyed that, especially just seeing what was his name? The kid from Unbreakable. What's his name?
I don't remember the actor's name, but he's good.
Anyway, just kind of I saw.
It's not Haley Joel Osment.
It's not
people say that
it's not Haley Joel Osment.
It's not.
No, the last movie Haley Joel Osment was in.
Yoga Hosers, yeah.
Yoga Hosers.
Respect.
He played a Nazi.
Less respect. Anyways,
Canadian.
not him. It's a fiction.
Canadian
But...
Okay.
All right, Nick. What were your favorite trailers from Comic-Con that we haven't written doon to talk about already?
Yeah, if only we had show notes. Aquaman and Shazam as being the I've enjoyed the DC universe for the most part. Everything like that. I'm super excited to see what James Wan does with Aquaman.
Mm-hmm.
Like just seeing that trailer got me really excited, and I was like, and just like seeing the dark feel to it and everything. I'm really happy that they also didn't use the bubble from Justice League.
Yeah,
where people were just
James
talking.
Yeah, James Wan was like, no, we're not
Yeah,
doing that.
James Wan is like, that's fucking stupid. Why would I do that?
Yeah, I guess she just wanted to go somewhere private.
Yeah, maybe it was just like a private meeting. I don't know, but go check out the Aquaman trailer. I really enjoy it. It feels like a Shakespearean play.
I did not get that vibe at all.
Really?
I don't want to cut you off. It looks like awesome. It looks like the most ridiculous thing ever. It don't look like Shakespeare, and that's fine.
No, but it does because it looks almost like Hamlet, where it's like where like the hero is like cast out and everything else, and
You read Hamlet?
Yeah, his uncle casts him out, and he has to come back and like kill his uncle and everything like that.
All right.
I read Hamlet.
It's a little Shakespearean.
It's Shakespearean.
It's the trailer. The story itself, yeah. I mean, like the trailer. I got like Avatar vibes. And I mean that in a good way. Like, I mean, like we're seeing a whole other like
trailer looks
alien,
fun,
weird world with like goofy visuals.
Maybe I'm getting a Shakespearean vibe because I know like what's like more or less what the plot is. Besides like not necessarily the plot, but I know how exactly like this is gonna work out from reading Aquaman comics because they're using the New 52s like style.
Of course they are.
And I don't know why they keep using the New 52.
Oh, this is Jeff Johns' era DC movies.
Yeah,
so.
he loves the New 52.
Well, he's gone now, but like these were the ones that.
Yeah, but I really do like it. I like James Wan's like horror vibe to it. It's really dark. But it's dark in a good way. It makes sense. Like,
yeah.
I don't get dark vibes either. Like we both love the trailer clearly, but like I don't get the dark.
But I'm getting that.
I think the depth.
Like the depth, like he's venturing into like this unknown like area of the world. And, like, you're able to see all these monsters and different stuff like that.
he rides a fucking mosasaur that eats like a crab person. And I'm just like, you know what? It looks like Robert Rodriguez directed it, and I mean that in a good way.
In a good way, yeah.
Where it's like these aren't trying to be realistic visuals.
No.
It's just like here's a army of mermen on the back of giant seahorses riding into battle.
That's cool, yeah.
Like that's not realistic. Fuck real. Real sucks.
Which,
it's awesome.
It's a movie about fucking Atlantis.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
and the
I'm
DC
totally
films have felt like too subjected to reality too.
Yeah,
At
and
this point, so it's cool.
They're trying to go with this like Dark
Gritty.
Knight build, like ever since like the Dark Knight came out, it's something like it has to be realistic. Everything else
Doesn't always work.
It has to be dark and realistic. Shit don't work all the time for every single character.
Right.
It works for Batman because it's Batman,
Mhm.
but Shazam, everybody else, it doesn't work.
Really quick, what'd you think of the classic Aquaman costume? Because I feel like that costume gets a bad rap.
You know what
I like that costume.
I like the costume too.
I really like that costume, and I don't mind them using it. That's perfectly fine. Use the costume and everything else, but give it like some meat to it. And everything else.
Yeah,
It's like Jason Momoa. That dude's all muscle. There's no meat on there.
I'm telling you right now, Jason Momoa could pull off that outfit.
Totally, yeah.
He could absolutely pull it off. Like you would look at it and be like, that's fucking cool.
And if anyone laughs at them, you're dead. You're gonna die.
Yeah,
They'll like knee you right in the
to be
face.
totally honest, I mean, even because they are using the New 52, I have to admit, New 52 was amazing for Aquaman. Like, Aquaman became a fucking badass in, like, New 52 and everything else. So, I'm not too afraid of like, them using the New 52 stories or anything else. I'm just interested to see, like, how exactly everything fits together. How does he become the true king of Atlantis?
I'm in it for James Wan, man. That guy is such a talent.
Yeah, it's great.
He is. If they could have picked anybody to direct that fucking movie.
Good for him, yeah.
The fact that Aquaman cost the most out of all the DC movies, minus Justice League because of the reshoots and stuff,
well, I mean,
it's like the budget's all there, and it still honestly doesn't look like it's enough to cover the expenses for the visuals. But whatever, it looks like an honest-to-God fantasy adventure movie, which we never see anymore.
The only person that could possibly film this, the only other person that possibly could have filmed this is James Cameron.
Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson too.
Yeah.
But James Cameron would be a
Because
good.
the entourage joke.
Yeah.
That's still a funny one. What do you think of the Shazam trailer? That's another different sort of goofy.
I actually I liked that because you know what, in a way it kind of felt like a Marvel movie. In a way of like it's comedic bumps and everything like that. Like it's the everyday story of like what would happen if a kid were to get superpowers.
Oh yeah, it's happened to me the other day.
Yeah, but it's the idea of like obviously he would test his powers. Like, and I love that entire montage scene where it's like, testing out his powers. Does he have each other? Oh, he's bulletproof. Oh, you have super strength. Can you fly? Oh, yeah.
Tries flying.
Yeah, he drives, and everything else. Or, what was it? Oh, you're the bad guy. Yeah. And, like, he's, like, throwing things out there, and that's really fun because should be Shazam. Shazam has the wisdom of Solomon, but he's also a kid. And I feel like Zachary Levi?
Zachary Levi, yeah.
Zachary Levi,
well, too.
He does a really good job. I mean, he's
playing like his inner kid.
Yeah, he's playing his inner child, and you know what? Honestly, if you've seen him in Chuck, he kind of plays that really well.
I love him in Chuck. I did not like him in this trailer.
Really?
Just the trailer could be proven wrong, but none of him felt sincere at all.
I think
I know he can. I don't care about that. Some people talk shit about that. I'm like, dude, it's like a 10-year-old kid.
10-year-old kid.
Like that's perfect. That's
he's
fine.
a 10-year-old kid.
Yeah.
He grew up with all this stuff.
He's gonna be into different things. Sorry, he doesn't listen to fucking Led Zeppelin or something.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He's not metal as fuck.
Yeah, like whatever. I thought the trailer was cute, but I'm not into Zachary Levi as Shazam.
Really?
I don't buy him.
I feel like you just need to see more. I'm okay with it because I
don't know, man. Like, because we both seen Chuck all the way through. It's one of my favorite shows. I think he's so great in that. I can't buy him. Maybe during the movie I'll just be like, oh, okay. It'll be like the Han Solo thing where like you watch the trailers and you're like,
yeah. I mean, he could be.
And then you watch it and he's like, oh man, that was great. He was great in it.
Good, yeah.
Well, not the movie, just him. But like, I just didn't like him in the trailer. But I'm looking forward to that.
I do like the reversal on the tone and everything like that. Like I really enjoy this change of tone that they're doing for Shazam, because if you put the Aquaman trailer right next to the Shazam trailer, they feel like completely different movies, and that's good.
Mm-hmm. It's a good new direction.
Yeah, it's a good new direction. They feel different, like different fucking movies. They should not. If you were to put Batman vs Superman in the Justice League trailer, you are almost positive they're the same fucking movie, and they shouldn't feel like that. And Wonder Woman had the same thing where it felt like a different movie, and that's what's really giving me like kind of Jones for it. Like this is It's a nice little move that they're making and stuff like that.
Okay, I'll do you one better. I think Wonder Woman was the best version of that kind of DC move they were trying to make back in the day. And these are the new directions they're going, and it's all exciting.
Yeah.
Which feels nice. Is there anything else Comic-Con related? Because we're going to move on. We got a quick little announcement to make, too, which is kind of fun. Gene convinced me to put up on this. We good? We good?
No, I think we're good.
You guys good?
The only other thing is
You're
go
good.
check out the DC streaming service that's going to be coming out.
Fuck Batman.
I mean, that's the only other thing that came out of like fucking like that's the only other thing that came out. I mean, it was
Fuck Batman.
It was tied into the DC streaming
God,
service.
that was a terrible trailer. That looked fan made.
You know what? I've been saying that. I've been saying that for like the past like 2 weeks.
Yeah, like they used the grapple sound from Arkham City.
Ugh.
It does,
all the lighting looks
it really does sound, like feel fan made and everything.
Like the
that.
lines are so cringy. Like obviously, fuck
Speaking
Batman.
of cringy lines,
Terrible.
I saw Ready Player One finally. I don't like it that much, but I'm not here to talk crap about it because not a lot of people did like it. So Gene came up with this good idea that we'd give back to everyone who's been tuning into the show, where you could win a digital copy of Ready Player One. Because you know what I did like a lot about it? The Shining sequence.
Yeah.
That was the shit.
That was pretty cool.
That was awesome. Just watch that on loop, or if you, I know a lot of people that I really respect really like the movie. So I mean, here's an opportunity to go watch
Get a free
it.
movie, yeah.
Yeah. So here's how you do it. You got to retweet this episode and comment on this episode on YouTube.
And we'll pick somebody randomly.
Yes, because we have machines that can do that for us now.
And also make sure to subscribe and ring the bell, or else you don't count.
Yeah. Fuck YouTube. Please ring the bell. Otherwise, they'll hide our episodes from people, and it's a whole
also,
problem.
it doesn't fucking count. You don't get the movie.
Yeah, so ring the bell, comment, share it on Twitter, or retweet this episode. You have to do both. But moving on, we got a little recommendation from Nick over here who saw a little something.
I saw Hollywood.
All right, you got 30 seconds though, because we got to stop the episode.
Okay, so Hollywood, it's a pilot that was shot by Kevin Smith in about 3-4 years ago. Go check it out. It's on Rivet TV. The entire idea is that it's clerks in a pot store. And it's all about like an average day inside of a dispensary, and they go on shenanigans and they end up meeting up with like a porn star, and then shit happens and everything like that. No sexual stuff actually. It's much more of like an empowerment type thing, which is
it's not. I thought it was like a documentary. So you're taking me on a trip right now?
Yeah, it's not even a
documentary.
No, it's not. It's
yeah.
not that at all. It's all about like Kevin Smith working in a dispensary, and then he gets sent out to like deliver weed to this dude, and he's like sending out like
as one does.
Yeah, and he's making a home delivery, and then he ends up finding out that it's a porn shoot. And then the only way that the girl is willing to do her scene is if like Kevin Smith gets her super fucking baked. And then during it, it's kind of like this entire thing of like, why the fuck are you doing this? Like, why porn? Like, you don't need to do this shit and everything like that. And it's pretty interesting. It's good. Good. Check it out. If you like, go check out the pilot. If you like it, pledge to it. They don't charge you until unless they hit their top. They only have 24 days left until they meet.
What are they trying to reach? What's the number?
$5 million.
All right. What are they at right now?
I have no fucking.
All right. So they definitely need our help then, because it doesn't sound like it's big enough to remember.
Go check it out, but check it out though. If you're a Kevin Smith fan, definitely go do it.
Yeah, I mean, if you like Tusk, go donate.
You know what, dude? It doesn't even feel like Tusk. It doesn't even feel like to me.
Thankfully.
Honestly, it doesn't even feel like it's the same fucking director. It really doesn't. It really does feel like this is like a nice project that he had an interesting idea about, and it's like, what would happen if like we did Clerks in a fucking dispensary and shit like that? Like Jason Mewes is the homeless dude in the back who like sucks on like the fucking the stems so that way he can try and get high and stuff like that, and it's pretty fucking funny. Like,
okay.
I enjoyed it.
Sure.
I enjoyed it.
You know what I enjoyed? Going to the movies this month of July, even though we're shooting this in August and releasing this in August.
Yeah.
But no, it was actually a pretty good month for movies, I thought.
No, yeah.
We got a couple to talk about here. We're going to try to reach all of them. If not, then we're going to have to cut some, and then we'll just give quick thoughts at the end.
Nobody needed to know that.
But the big one we're going to talk about is Mission Impossible Fallout, because that movie's making more money than God. It's the highest grossing, or it's going to be the highest grossing of the Mission Impossible franchises, like hands down. Yeah. Tom Cruise wants to kill himself on camera for entertainment, and I say more power to him. He's done nothing but great action work.
Highest grossing movie, Henry Cavill's
He's waiting for that movie to just like...
Yeah, he's going to die, and
one of these
he's going to be content with it.
It's going to be Mission Impossible 12. and he's gonna accidentally fall off a helicopter.
I don't think he's gonna.
Probably.
I think this might be the last one or the next one. Like,
And
I honest to God. Don't
Yeah, I
think
can't
it
see
should.
him continuing.
It should be. It really fucking should be.
All right.
If they're gonna make more, they really need to do this like passing of the torch or some shit.
Nah, I think just don't pass the torch. I don't need every reboot to
Just
pass
retire
the
the
torch.
franchise.
I think just retire the franchise for a minute and come back later.
That's true.
You
Just
know?
reboot it.
But yeah, so Mission Impossible Fallout after Rogue Nation. This is a whole. This one I think is more driven by character than some of the previous ones. Like all of them. Maybe like Mission Impossible 3 is the exception. I think Mission Impossible 3 gave the franchise its heart, and then ever since then they've kind of like built around it.
It keeps getting better and better.
Mission Impossible where you actually like kind of needed to fucking watch the other ones.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like you really kind of
you could get with it if you don't, because you're like, oh, remember this thing?
Yeah.
They explained that thing.
Yeah,
that
they
brought
do.
up, and then they move on.
Yeah.
But I think Chris McQuarrie, just like from where he started, Way of the Gun, which I haven't seen. I know it got mixed response. But Jack Reacher saw a little action genre movie. Rogue Nation was like, whoa, where did this guy come from? And then Fallout is like, this is. Some people compare this to like Mad Max Fury Road in terms of action quality.
I don't know about that.
In terms of pure action, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
A helicopter chases a helicopter, motherfucker.
I don't think it's like I don't think it's driving through like a sandstorm with.
That wasn't an actual sandstorm, man.
That was
Maybe.
CGI.
Maybe I think it was a
Henry
sandstorm.
Cavill almost died.
I don't know if it's.
They chased each other with helicopters.
No, I don't think it's Mad Max.
No, dude, Henry
Yo,
Cavill
in terms
said
of action,
it,
absolutely.
Henry Cavill even said, he goes, Tom Cruise got so close to my helicopter that I went, this is how I die.
By the way, that's why he couldn't shave the mustache. He would have blown off in the helicopter sequences. So quick highlights from me. Henry Cavill has remarkable range as an actor, and I've been standing by him even though I haven't liked his Superman. That's not on him. I've always thought he's talented. He punches so hard in this movie, he reloads his arms. So that's just my thing now.
That's great.
It's so fucking cool.
I think it would have been. We're spoilers for all these movies we're gonna talk about, by the way.
Sure.
So spoilers for Fallout. I would have liked it if he wasn't like a secret terrorist assassin. He was just a CIA member, because the journey that Ethan Hunt goes on in this movie is trying to figure out like his place between like the real world and like the spy world, and how to like kind of align those two, and to have a mirror like that in Henry Cavill's character would have been way more interesting.
You could have also, you could have, because Henry Cavill's like character, the entire movie is all about like, why do we need the IMF? CIA is like perfectly fine.
And to be fair, that's the thing that they
keep on talking about this in like every fucking like Mission Impossible movie.
Like, look, you don't go to Mission Impossible for like the groundbreaking plots. You go because it's a good enough plot where they string this high concept action on.
Better than a Bond movie.
It was better than Spectre for sure.
Yeah. It's better than Spectre and Quantum.
It's the Bond movie that we needed, because holy shit.
Actually, I don't want to get into it, but I think I have a whole thesis on which one's the best Bond movie in the Mission Impossible series. But it's the shit. The Fallout is fantastic.
He almost fucking fell out of a goddamn helicopter. Like
broke his knee.
He
broke his ankle. You see it in the
You
film.
actually see it in
you
the
see the
film.
shot where it snaps and where he hobbles away.
Yeah, he limps.
That cut is in the movie.
Yeah, he fucking jumps, breaks his ankle,
Keeps
gets
going.
up, keeps going, and then hobbles away. And then in the next scene, he's still hobbling, and then he's like, "Oh shit, I broke my ankle."
The director of photography is named Rob Hardy. He shot Annihilation and Ex Machina for Alex Garland. And I think that guy is. Yeah, it looks so good. And this is one of the only remaining blockbuster franchises that still shoots on film.
Yeah.
And I'm not like a film versus digital guy. I think
Yeah, but it's a nice, it's a nice little thing to see.
Yeah, and because the last two were shot by Robert Elswit, Paul Thomas Anderson's go-to photographer, and those are gorgeous looking movies too. But I think this might be the best looking one.
I don't know what it is, but it's that thing of also like the idea of them going, why don't we just get two fucking helicopters and just fly them? Like, why do we need a green screen? Let's just fucking fly these things.
That's a great sequence.
It's a great fucking sequence, but also just the idea, like, it makes it so much better when you're like, oh, they really fucking did that. Like, they got helicopters and they were like Tom Cruise spent 3 months learning how to fly a fucking helicopter just so he could do that scene. Like, that's amazing. That's commitment, and I have to respect him for it.
Yeah.
Like,
Tom Cruise is an insane person, and that's why he's great.
How come he can't name a movie he likes?
Oh, that's a dumb film Twitter thing. Look, there's this joke going around from an old interview about Tom Cruise, like where someone asked him like what his favorite movie is, and he just talks about how much he loves movies.
Hey, first off, Michael Rooker doesn't even remember movies he was in.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you're really gonna make fun of it,
but here's the thing:
Tom Cruise at least knows what movies he was in.
Yeah, Tom Cruise also watches like a movie a day, like.
So
he's
watched all of them.
Yeah, like this is a fact. He's gone on record. Like people in the industry know that He watches movies all the fucking time. You know?
The idea that he just couldn't pick one is kind of like...
He legitimately couldn't pick one.
You don't think Tom Cruise fucking does massive research on every single Mission Impossible director? It's not like he picked John Woo out of the hat to direct Mission Impossible 2, you know?
Oh, well, I fucking wonder why.
Yeah.
Mission Impossible 1 it was alright, but you know what? It needed more action. Who the fuck do I get to make this movie have more action?
No, this thing needs dubs. This movie needs dubs.
It needs some fucking
Lots of
dubs.
I need high octane, low budget spy energy.
A lot of slow motion.
J.J. Abrams for Mission Impossible 3. Alright, who do I need something a little lighter, a little goofier? Yeah. Brad Bird.
He knows exactly what he's fucking doing when he makes these movies.
Yeah. You know what? That's what I like about these movies too, before we move on to the other movies we're going to talk about. They know what you're there for. Like, there's a moment where Ving Rhames was talking to Ethan Hunt, and he was like, you know, we're on, like, I don't trust anyone outside of this room. Like, we're on our own here. And Ving Rhames just, like, rubbing his hands. And it's like, we know. It was always going to come to this.
Yeah.
It was the second half of the Mission Impossible movie. It was always going to end up here.
Honestly, from seeing the trailer, I originally thought that Ethan was going to be disavowed again. And
That kind of happens, but not officially.
Yeah, but when I first saw that, I was like, oh, can we have like a fucking mission? Like, can we like not have him be disavowed? Like, for once, this is a fucking spy movie.
Ghost Protocol, he's on it. That one's a whole mission movie. He just happens to be disavowed during it.
Yeah.
So it's like you got it, but
kind of counts.
Yeah.
But like but I really want to see like a movie where he's like supported by the fucking like. The first one was about him being disavowed and like being hunted and shit like that.
I'll go on record. The first one's crazy underrated, by the way. But sorry, go on.
It is. It's really good. It's a little slower, but I enjoy it. I really enjoy it. Stuff like that.
It's a Brian De Palma movie. So.
Yeah.
I like it though. I like it, especially with like the crime. I mean, with the mystery that's going on and everything like that, and like the twisted thing. It's really good.
Yeah.
You haven't seen Mission Impossible?
Sure.
What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. We got some tweets in. I'm gonna read some out as we go along the way. Jack Rourke from Twitter said, "Fallout is as great as people are saying. Sorry to bother you is an overrated, misguided piece of film or mess of a film. Ant-Man the Wasp is good, sci-fi, comic book fun. Loved the them reference at the end. And so, on this note, we're gonna switch over to Teen Titans Go to the Movies, which are none of the films that he referenced here. So thank you, Jack.
Maybe he likes it.
I don't think you've seen them yet.
Probably
Okay.
hasn't seen it. You know what? Honestly,
So I think I'm the only one that's...
No, I saw it last night.
Okay, you
Did
saw
you
it
see
last night.
I did see it last night.
Where did
Teen
you
Titans
see it?
Go to the Movies, like right after
Yeah.
Right
Jack
after
told
we
me.
talked.
Alright,
We
yeah.
were going over show notes, and then I was just like, all right, I'm gonna head out now.
It's only an hour and 30. Okay, so yeah, what'd you think?
Well, I mean, do you want to take it away? I don't want to
Take
talk
it
about
away.
the show myself. Go
I
ahead,
was,
Pete.
yeah, I loved it. I couldn't stop laughing when I was watching. Yeah, I couldn't. I was like, I thought this was this legitimately was like really funny. Like, as a big DC fan, like everything they reference and like how they have like it's like a unique spin on their humor in like kind of, I wouldn't say mocking, but kind of doing a big parody on superhero films and superheroes in general.
Would you say it's as funny or funnier than Lego Batman?
I think it was funnier than Lego Batman.
Really? I really
Yeah,
enjoyed
like
Lego
I feel
Batman.
Lego Batman was pretty funny and like maybe a better movie, but Teen Titans Go was like just like it was just so like, stupid and random. Like, but going back to the DC thing, like they have the Challengers of the Unknown, like totally obscure characters, and they just like shit on him the whole movie, and it's funny. And like the guy, like I don't know, I got the impression that because the main guy has this really like British voice, like they're supposed to be like this like really obscure indie punk band, and they give them like just
They're like the Arctic Monkeys.
yeah,
of
the
DC.
Arctic Monkeys. Yeah, they're so like
Love them, but you know.
and the Teen Titans just send them off to a portal in another dimension and just like leave them there.
That's a surprising thing for me because I've seen bits and pieces of the show, and
Yeah.
I really think Teen Titans Go is hilarious.
It's funny, yeah. Like if you're 12, you would like it.
It's really mean spirited.
It's really like it gets very like
well,
dark.
like, in a really funny way.
Yeah, like
Like,
I couldn't. The funniest thing in that whole movie, I couldn't stop laughing, was the musical number, upbeat, inspirational song about life, and it has like Michael Bolton as a white tiger singing with them, and his band's like a dolphin
That's pretty
and
cool.
another tiger, and then they run him over
The
because he got in the way of their car, and then they perform a hit and run because they think his dad's a cop, and they just leave his dead body in there. That's so fucked up.
The
It's
one
just
thing,
like,
the one thing I really,
wow.
the one thing I do, like, because I've been going over like Teen Titans Go and going like, maybe I should give it a chance.
Yeah.
Stuff like
It's
that.
good.
Because I originally didn't like Teen Titans Go is because I thought it was like a rebranding of the original series.
It's not.
That's
It's
what
like,
everyone
it's its
said.
own thing.
Just
It's
to
its
clear
own
the air,
entity.
It's not.
Same crew, same cast, They just want to do something different.
Yeah, it's like another
it's
entity.
It's a lot funnier and it's supposed to be like a lot more comical. But I really enjoy the idea of like they were like, here's this fucking wacky ass show. Let's just make fun of everything we've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything that's so stupid or like everything that like has ever happened to like our shows in the past. Just fucking make fun of it.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like they make fun of Young Justice, where they're just like, "Why are you guys so broody?"
These several
so
times they make
serious?"
fun of Young Justice.
Yeah, like why are you so serious? Like relax.
Yeah.
Or what was it? They make fun of the original series. I saw a clip of that where
we'll talk more about it, but again, spoilers for all the movies we're gonna talk about. The post-credits scene is the original Teen Titans TV show kids breaking through the network and saying they think they found a way back, and then it cuts back to the credits.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So that's clearly going to the streaming service.
Yeah, that's cool. If they said if the movie makes enough, they're gonna do it.
Yeah, you know what?
It's crossed because it's not doing great, which is unfortunate.
You know what? Honestly, I think fucking make the series anyway. Fuck it.
Yeah.
DC streaming service.
I mean,
I've
it'll
seen
be
the Titans trailer. They're gonna need help.
Yeah, they're gonna need some like bring back like a known property.
You know what? Bring back known properties. Bring back fucking Static. Bring back shows that
the
like
DC
never finished. And like
Batman Beyond.
Yeah, bring back Batman Beyond.
It did have an epilogue.
It has an epilogue, but
Yeah,
I mean, it's not a great epilogue. And everything like that. And also, like, if you look at the continuity now, it's been changed, but I mean, it's not a big deal. The idea is...
It's not continuity.
Yeah. I mean,
it's the comics.
And shit like that. But the continuity changes all the fucking time. Yeah. But the thing is that I think bring back all these shows that, like, didn't get a chance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these shows that were really good and they had a fan base, but they didn't fucking sell toys. You know,
That's exactly why they canceled
it. Really quick though, I want to say that I think I like it as much as Lego Batman, and I love Lego Batman.
I walked out of Lego Batman going like, I fucking love that movie.
Yeah, I think that's top 3 Batman movies.
Yeah.
Honest to God.
It's up there.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Lego Batman or Teen Titans Go, please watch both.
Yeah. They're
remarkable takedowns and love letters to the genre they're riffing on.
Yeah, because they like it. And it has the best BBS joke. The best BBS joke.
I mean, in what was it? In Lego Batman, one of the funniest things is when Joker lists all of the fucking heroes. And it's like, oh, those are all fucking real villains. And then, like, I remember I was watching it with my girlfriend, and she turned to me and she was like, that's not fucking true, is it?
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's a Condiment King.
They were all fucking true. Like, those are all real villains.
Yeah,
She's like, there's a guy who just, like, shoots condiments.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god, yes.
Yeah.
I want to see him in a movie. Do it.
And really quick, Nicolas Cage as Superman was...
Finally,
that was good. That was great. That was a great one.
I was happy for him there.
You know what? I have to ask.
He sounds so good as Superman.
The thing I was wondering is that whether or not, as he's like, while he's being Superman in this movie, does he randomly laugh?
Does he? He just kind of has his normal speech patterns.
No, but I mean, like, because, like, Nicolas Cage's, like, idea for Superman was that he would be, like, this, like, weird dude who's, like, walking down the street, but, like, he would, like, randomly laugh because he has super hearing and he would hear a joke from, like, 20 miles away.
Yeah,
there's none of that.
Yeah, he's just kind of...
Which I honestly think is a great idea.
Yeah.
Nick Cage is... I love Nick Cage.
So
like,
weird.
That's a great idea for Superman. Like, he's just like, and like, you know, he wears like a Mickey Mouse like shirt and like a blazer, and he's like, this is what I think humans look like.
Yeah, that was cool.
Like
Yeah.
that. Funny.
Again, go see that documentary. That's Superman odds.
Yes.
To be totally honest, I think the DC streaming service is a great place if they want to make like weird shit, like animate.
An animated movie of that, sure, yeah.
Yeah, like make Death Superman Lives as like an
I
animated
wish they
movie.
would do that instead of just another Death of Superman, but whatever. I don't want to linger on
So
DC talk too much.
next movie?
Next up is Sorry to Bother You.
Oh yeah.
Which you did not see.
Yeah, someone on Twitter didn't like it.
Gene and I
we
saw it. Yeah, Jack didn't like it, but here, Gene, why don't you go ahead and give your thoughts on Sorry to Bother You while I pull up some other tweets people sent us.
Yeah, I think that's one of the best movies of the year. It has a lot to say, and it needs to be heard because it has some very relevant messages. Some might be really blunt, but, you know, you live in a time right now where that's, just random shit happens in real life with no subtlety. So a movie just like that seems ideal. And it's just so well made and just so just crazy and off the walls, and there's no other movie like it, I don't think. That's the biggest compliment I could give it.
Southland Tales in the sense that it's absolutely absurd, and I get people not liking it. But I pulled up the tweets, and this is going to phrase it better than I ever could.
Read those tweets.
Is it to the point of like Inherent Vice not liking it?
No, it's just they don't make movies aren't made like this because they don't adhere to like traditional structure and like form, and I think we need more movies like that. So here's Brooks Vernon on Twitter. when I was watching Sorry to Bother You for the first time, I was liking it, but didn't get all the praise. And then that thing happened, and it became my number 1 film of the year. This is one we're not going to spoil. Actually,
don't
because
spoil.
I think we need to watch
There's
it.
like a perfect GIF I want to like tweet about that thing, and I can't.
There's one more
I don't
additional
want
thing
to
to
do
that.
it.
The way the film continuously builds in its absurdity, characters, presentation, and themes, and then goes fucking bananas, and somehow brings it all together for a great ending is so good. I don't understand how people can call it a mess when everything works so well. And that's basically where I am, where it's like, it's
So we're
less messy. Yeah, Brooks, call me. It's less messy,
DM us.
just like it goes for a lot. And I would say all of it lands. And
I feel like
it's really hard to talk about without spoilers, but this is something that
I
needs
feel
to
like
be like.
I feel like I really need to watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably
It is. I totally agree with Eugene. It's one of the best movies of the year, hands down. It's a must watch.
Do you think it'll win an Oscar? Or?
It's too weird.
No,
I don't think it'll get there, but it should. Like,
It's too weird for the Academy, though.
yeah, I think we're
Yeah,
getting
it's-
weirder. Like, the movie that won Best Picture was about a woman fucking a fish man. So we're getting there, but that's still not weird enough.
But it was made by Del Toro, so it made it okay.
Yeah. But, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
Everybody's like,
that's
oh.
a weird dude. I love him, but he's a weird dude.
Yeah, but everybody was like,
That's
it's
why.
Yes, two
Del Toro
houses.
made it, you know? It makes sense.
He has 2 houses, one for his living, and then the rest for his toys.
I
His
wonder what
toys.
his toys are.
No, it's just his
It's
horror
like collectible.
collectible
Oh, okay.
shit. Yeah, he's got like wax makeup of like the Wolfman and whatever the fuck, or
Oh,
Frankenstein, right?
I thought it was sexy stuff.
No. Okay, Brandon Swafford, friend of the show, love to have you back soon, man. Sorry to Bother You is an insane, amazing cautionary tale of what happens when you're horsing around. Yeah, that's all I'll say about that.
Is it fuck a horse?
No,
we can't say, Nick.
We won't say
We're
anything.
not going to say. We have to see it.
But next up, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
We're not
a
gonna
movie
say it.
we all saw.
You guys fucking a horse?
Ant-Man
We're
and
not
the
gonna tell you,
Wasp. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Do you want to take this one, Nick? Because this is the only other movie you saw?
Yeah, this is the only other movie I fucking saw.
Wow, that was loud.
Yeah, I know. I would definitely recommend going to go see Ant-Man and the Wasp. I enjoyed it a lot. It was a fun time at the movies. You know, what was it? Paul Rudd does an amazing job. Evangeline Lilly is a great sidekick.
Would
She's
you
his
say
partner.
she's a sidekick?
Partner.
You know what? I would definitely say partner. and
Yeah.
everything else, and-
I
Partner,
would say
come
the
on.
lead of
Yeah.
She's
She might-
in the
she
title of this movie.
She might very well be a lead.
Like,
I-
Robin's his partner.
Like
Batman and Robin, they're partners.
Ant-Man's kind of the
sidekick,
sidekick in this
yeah.
one.
A little bit, yeah.
Which I love.
Yeah, that's pretty
Like,
cool.
because he's just an idiot.
No, but yeah, and
I wish he
enjoyed
was.
it.
He's supposed to be like a scientist. I wish he wasn't as
In the
idiotic.
first one, he kind of was. In this one, he's like a dummy, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Scott
Ant-Man.
That didn't
Or
work for
Scott.
me as much.
Yeah.
But sorry.
No, but I enjoyed it. What was it? The entire follow through of everything else. You know, the fact that it was a story about family.
Mhm.
It was all
Yeah.
about like reuniting this.
It's all
this-
about family.
Yeah, it's all about reuniting this family and also having to deal with the consequences of civil war and the Sokovia Accords and
I feel like it's probably the most out of all the Marvel films post Civil War to actually deal with.
To, like,
It's
actually
the
deal
only
with the
one to deal
Accords.
with it.
Yeah.
I feel like you know what I feel like? I feel like this is like Marvel Comics after they did Civil War, where they actually ended up signing the was it the Hero Act?
Superhero Registration.
Yeah, the Superhero Registration Act, and then like slowly just petered out, and we stopped talking about it.
Yeah.
Well,
And then-
it got thrown out eventually.
It was eventually thrown out, but like in Marvel Comics, they kind of stopped talking about it, and they
Yeah.
were just like, "Do we still have a fucking like law where we can't be superheroes?" And they were just like, "Yeah, let's repeal it."
And this movie does something interesting with it, at least, where it's like, all right, he just wants to be a good dad now. Like, superheroing has its place, but good dad first.
Yeah.
And this movie takes place over like the course of 2 days, and he's just like struggling to
Yeah.
balance that work and life. That's something that like Peter Parker should be doing more.
Yeah.
I think,
And
Well, but yeah.
instead of joining the Avengers every other movie he's in.
I actually really, the main thing I really liked is I liked that it was different because there wasn't necessarily a through line villain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed the idea of like you understand why Ghost is doing what she's doing, and it's all about she wants to fucking live.
She's an antagonist, but she's not a villain. She's not
Yeah.
malicious.
She's not doing.
Like,
this
there's a
out of,
point
like,
where she
hate.
questions whether, like, when she might toe that line, and she's like, ugh, and she storms off, but she's like, she doesn't do anything bad with it.
Yeah,
you know?
like, and I really enjoyed the idea of like you can have somebody who's like challenging the hero, but that doesn't make her a villain.
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I really enjoyed that, especially with Giant Man and everything else.
Yeah.
Mickelman says Ant-Man and the Wasp is proof that any film, good or bad, can get a little bit better when Walton Goggins is in it, which is 100% true.
We needed more Walton Goggins.
We did need more.
I like this guy's like profile. Pigeon.
Oh yeah, Pigeon. Thank you.
But yeah, no. Walter Goggins is a well-added. Like,
yeah, that was great.
In the Marvel
My
universe.
favorite piece of criticism about this movie is that like there's no real bad guy. Like at worst, Walton Goggins.
He's a bad guy. Yeah, he's a gangster.
No, I'm saying like at worst, Walton Goggins is like a not nice guy. You know, he doesn't hurt anyone. Like they threaten to shoot people at the end, but like that's the very end where you know they're not gonna kill people off
He
like
puts
that.
people on true serum too.
I really liked. I don't know why I really enjoyed that joke of just like, so it's true serum, it's not true serum.
Yeah.
And then like later on, it's like, oh god, it is true serum.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to
I
see.
got not just because of Walton Goggins, but I got like light Elmore Leonard vibes, where it's like here's like a thing everyone wants. Remind me of Justified.
It's like a MacGuffin.
Justified's much better written. I like this movie, but Justified
is very well.
where it's just like here's the thing everyone wants, and here's like
It's
all
a
the
chase.
goofballs trying to chase around to get it. Everyone's got their own thing,
Everyone has
and
their own
you
reason.
understand where everyone's coming from.
Yeah.
And they all got their own personal drives, their own struggles, but it's like there's almost like a sense of respectability through some of the people, like the FBI guy.
Yeah, he's doing his job.
Yeah, like he doesn't hate Scott Lang. He's just doing his job.
And I like that joke at the very end where he's just like, should we get dinner sometime? And then he's like, did you want to get dinner? Like, I'm free. Like, it's like, no, I don't want to get dinner with you.
Like that was very Justified.
Yeah,
you know?
like I
It
really.
reminded me of like Shoot You. Go watch Justified.
Yeah,
Everyone.
I really enjoyed that.
And then it's great to see Louise.
Yeah, I think the very beginning of Avengers 4 should be a recap by Louise.
Yeah.
If Marvel hadn't done that.
Yeah. Or just like have that
money's on the table.
Have that in like one of the promos or something.
Like honestly, make it a promo where like he just runs. Honestly, have Louise do a breakdown of all 10 years of Marvel. And,
yeah, right.
Like, and like
That'd
have
be great.
him do it.
That should be the thing.
That would be really funny, and like it would get retweeted. Go do it, Marvel. It's a fucking waste of opportunity.
I also really like the action in this one, more so the second half. The first half was like it was fine. It was like big, small. But the second half they started playing with like space in an interesting way, right? There's like 3 levels. It was like Inception level like geography. And not quality, but like geography wise, like here's your one set piece, the small one. Here's the regular size set piece, and here's the mega size set piece.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was a lot of fun.
I think if anything, Walter Goggins is a kind of an annoyance more than he is like a villain.
Well, but he is a minor
everyone's just like annoyed by each other. No one's actually like no one hates each other. They're just like, God, really? Like now? Like the worst possible time?
Why are you here?
Yeah. And I think that like levity, I liked it as much as Infinity War. I know a lot of people like head over heels for that, and I love that movie too. But like, I like this just as much, and it's not kind of made the same impact, obviously.
To be totally honest, I feel like Ant-Man and the Wasp I could watch more.
Yeah.
I could easily put this in the background and watch it a lot more than I could.
Yeah.
Because Infinity War, I feel like I need to be fucking paying attention.
It's like exhausting. I like how mean that movie is.
But it is exhausting.
Yeah.
Like you feel fucking wiped after watching.
Which is why I kind of hate the post credits to this also. I didn't even watch it. I just heard about it and I was like, that's terrible.
Why didn't you watch it?
Because I'm tired of staying. I had to go.
Well, it's only like maybe like a minute.
Like a minute and a half.
I don't care that much about the post credits. I'm gonna see the other movies, man.
You stayed for the Titans one.
Oh yeah, I like that movie a lot. Like a lot. If Black Panther had come out this year, that's my favorite superhero movie, hands down.
Okay, so the post-credit scene automatically directly corresponds with the ending of Infinity War. Spoiler.
Oh, spoiler for everything.
Yeah, spoiler for everything. But the thing is that, I did think it was relatively mean, though. You have this entire thing where, like, the entire movie is about, like, putting this family back together.
And you just kill him.
And then Thanos just goes, and it kills everybody, and you're just like, oh, fuck.
From Anton Reyes. Oh, he changed his Twitter handle. It used to be Tales to Antonish. Ant-Man and the Wasp made me never want to wait for a post-credit scene again.
Just made him want to cry?
No, because we both didn't like it. Thank you, Anton.
But I mean, for the post-credit scene, I mean, it was interesting. They did. I mean, Evangeline. I mean, not Evangeline Lilly. Oh my God. Van Dyne, his wife.
Janet.
I kind of remember that right now.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer explains.
Catwoman.
Yeah, no, I feel really bad as a Batman fan. But yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer does kind of explain how exactly he's going to get out, which I thought was really interesting. because she's like, make sure to stay with the time portals and everything like that. Once you get in those, it's gonna, you're just gonna zip through time and stuff like that. I thought that was kind of interesting. And like
See that in Infinity War Part 2?
Yeah, that was like a nice little like, this is how he's gonna get out.
There you go.
We got to start wrapping up here, but from our buddy, the Youth Critic, Mission Impossible was really good. Teen Titans was fine. Sorry to Bother You was bonkers, insanely great. Yes. And Ant-Man and the Wasp was life fun at the movies. I think he meant light, and I agree with that. Sometimes it's just nice to have a nice little breezy family
fun
comedy. I like that Ant-Man is their PG family movie, you know?
To be totally honest, I was actually more scared that instead of it being like, that scene where like you see the Van Dynes just kind of like fade away, or the Pims, I was more worried he was going to be like at home finally with his family.
Oh yeah, with Casey.
I was convinced it was going to be his daughter being like, Daddy, I don't feel so good.
Yeah, like
and then like her just
fade
fading away.
Yeah, I was telling you,
that would have been even worse.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want that to be done to such a like breezy character. I was telling people.
That was the thing though. I was very convinced that like that was what's gonna like set Scott Lang on this like on this path of like I need to like reverse this and everything like that. But I mean,
I think half of the universe population already getting trimmed down might be
incentive
enough.
Yeah, but it's his daughter.
It's all bad. It's all bad.
Yeah.
All right, we got to start wrapping up here. Really quick, any other movies you'd want to recommend that you saw in July? Doesn't have to be in theaters, just something off the top of your head. If not, let's just start winding down.
Well, you can go first.
I ended up watching The Final Girl.
Final Girl.
And I would definitely recommend watching it. It's a nice change in the horror movie trope. It's all about these group of friends who get teleported into a horror film, and they have to basically finish the horror film off in order to escape.
Nice.
It's a good movie.
The Mr. Rogers documentary.
How was that?
Well, it's really good. Gave me all the feels. Won't you be my neighbor? Yeah, it's a very well made documentary. I would recommend it. Makes you cry.
That's what I'm worried about.
Gives you a
but
good
I'm
cry.
excited to check it out. I finally saw Steven Soderbergh's Unsane.
Insane.
His iPhone shot horror movie. It's his Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Pure visceral digital nightmare fuel.
I love that movie.
Incredible. My favorite movie of the year so far.
It's one of my favorites.
I'm in love.
Now that I
with
think about it, now that you mentioned documentary, I go watch Peer Into My Mind, the Robin Williams documentary.
I didn't mean to check
That's I began crying.
Oh.
Like you know how much like Robin Williams means to me, and just to have like that documentary that talks about his life, and then they start getting into it. It's if you're a Robin Williams fan, it's a tearjerker.
Yeah.
It's a very good documentary.
All right, and on that note, Gene, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Gene9892.
Nicholas.
You can find me on Instagram, the Nick Valero, and Facebook.
And you can find me on Twitter as well at DWGOWaffle, Waffle Press. Like, subscribe on Twitter. Follow our Patreons because we could use more money to buy more equipment, more things here.
Look at it. Oh.
I want a TV
To fill up the new
TV,
studio. We're not
a
getting
robot?
It. What?
Have like
No.
a
He
robot
makes
or something.
toast.
Makes
It's a
some
robot that
toast.
makes toast.
We're not
Makes
getting
waffles.
Any of that. Just to help us continue to grow in our little corner of the internet. Check out the rest of the retrospectives. By this point, Hannibal will be finally done. Predator will be launching. And that's it. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We've been professionally unprofessional.
Subscribe
Don't know
and
what's
hit the bell.